Welcome to season 6 of Travel Stories with Moush. This is the special culinary edition of the podcast where we explore the world through the lens of food with some of the most celebrated chefs and culinary experts in the region. So join me as we travel the world through food, one story, one plate, and one adventure at a time. Travel Stories with Moush Culinary Travel Series is brought to you by Emirates NBD Voyager credit cards. From takeoff to touchdown, travel simplified with the Emirates NBD Voyager MasterCard credit cards. Hello and welcome to this special culinary series of Travel Stories with Moush. This is the season finale, and for this final episode of this very special series, I have with me a very special guest here in the studio. Chef Himanshu Saini, the visionary behind Trèsind Studio here in Dubai and the world's only and first Indian restaurant to earn 3 Michelin stars. Himanshu joins us on this podcast to take us on what promises to be an extraordinary journey into the world of culinary travel. Himanshu, thank you so much for joining us here in the studio, and obviously very excited to go on this journey with you, discovering some really unique places around the world.
Thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to tell my travel stories, which are delicious.
Yeah.
So I'll try my best to give my best version of me traveling around for food.
Absolutely. So looking forward. Now, before I begin, the questions for the podcast, I want to ask you, of course, Trèsind Studio is special. Many are looking forward to going there, including myself. You've put it on the map really of, a global culinary travel for so many people. Do you really take people also on a journey of food when you present every course in your restaurant?
100%. The menu in the restaurant is called Rising India.
Mm-hmm.
And the menu is divided into 5 macro regions of India, which include Thar Desert, coastal plains, northern plains, Himalayan mountains, Deccan Plateau. And it's just been done to make people understand that Indian food is not just the North Indian food, which is more popular out of India. And I think today when anyone dines in our restaurant, they go back discovering maybe 5% more about what India has to offer. So I think that is something over this year has become our philosophy, is just to make people understand more of India. So I think this has become our agenda. It's our goal to make people understand the diversity of our country. Every region is so diverse. It's the geography, it's the location of these regions which has marked the cuisine also, what people eat, what practices they follow, what is the culture.
So it's a beautiful journey into and through India, through your dishes, I'm sure. And also, like you said, Indian food is so diverse, very intricate. And I am so glad that you have kind of, put Indian food on a map and at that pedestal that you have. Now, to begin the first question of the podcast, I know India is special to you, of course.
Yeah.
It says on the food you create and in your restaurant. But to take us on this journey, where will you be taking us on a journey today?
I think the only country I feel very connected after India is probably Italy.
Okay.
So it's probably become my new home. You start with Milan, and then you can drive to the mountains, to the Dolomites. It's like a 5-6 hour drive. There is a small town called Brunic, and it's when I went there for the first time, I was cooking with one of my favorite chefs, Chef Norbert Neiderkoffler. He has this fine dining restaurant there, and he has another restaurant which is like in a ski resort. And it's probably one of the most beautiful restaurants you would ever see in your life. It's like you have to take a trolley, you go on the mountain, and the restaurant is just on the peak, it's just on the hedge, and you probably get the most amazing panoramic views in your life. When you leave Milan, you can go to Garda Lake. There is a restaurant called Lido 84, which is amazing. Then there is an amazing winery which is called Franciacorta. It's also like a 1.5 hour drive from Milan. Then this place is called Desenzano, which is known for its nightlife. But then north of Italy is something which I love to explore.
Liguria? Or Piedmont?
Piedmont, yes, but for restaurants, I
Yeah.
would say. When you go south of Italy in Lecce is another beautiful town. Very slow, very peaceful, amazing seafood.
Yeah.
Probably the best seafood I've ever eaten in my life is in Lecce. And then you can go to Naples also. I've been there just to eat the best pizza in the world
Yeah.
with Chef Franco Pepe. It's not in the main Naples city. It's again a very small town. You cannot imagine a restaurant like that exist in that small town, and people comes from all around the world to eat his pizza. And to be honest, it's probably the best pizza in the world. You cannot eat any other pizza after eating its pizza. Then Udine is another city which is close to Slovenia. There's a festival called Einprozit. It's one of these festivals where chefs from around the world come for a week in the city, and everybody's collaborating with each other, and the whole city turns into a gastronomic feast. And you will see some names collaborating which you would never see anywhere else in the world.
So Italy is special to you, and
Yeah.
took us on this beautiful journey around the special places for food.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been experimenting with food a lot. You cook around different places in the world. You collaborate with very many different chefs around the world. In your experience, when you've been traveling around, which is that one place you think that everyone must go to experience food?
I think Mexico, I would say. I've been to Merida and Mexico City and explored Yucatan. And I think it's something everyone must do it. Like I've been to Yucatan and some areas with Mayan cultures, and I've been to the pyramids there. They were very intriguing. They're very different. The noises echo, and the writings on the wall is something which has always attracted me. And of course the food, because I feel it's so much similar to our food. It's like the climate is subtropical. The ingredients which you find are very similar. Even the eating practice, I always compare tacos with the chapatis, and I feel there is this Indian connection with them. And I feel that me visiting there more than twice is something to do with my past life.
But that's very well said, because when you feel that connect, also it tells in your food story.
Yeah.
Right? And as far as food is concerned, Mexico is also so diverse.
Yeah.
The tacos from the north will be different from the,
Yeah,
tacos in the
100%.
south. And then
100%.
Yucatan is so very different. Baja side is so very
Yeah.
different. So yeah, I mean, that's a special place for you. Now, going on, and because you cook around the world, there are places sometimes you go to, and you don't really expect much from their food. Like you will travel to a particular place and you don't really think that the food will be great. But has there been any such place in your travel experience which you found that you didn't expect that the food will be great in that place, but turned out to completely surprise you as far as, their food culture was concerned?
It's always been good.
This episode is brought to you by Emirates NBD Voyager credit cards, the credit card that turns every moment of your travel journey into a rewarding experience. Travel simplified with the Emirates NBD Voyager MasterCard credit cards.
It's always been good. Food makes you learn so much. Like if I go and eat Korean food in Korea, I am not saying that I'm going to get in love with it for the first time. No, even Italy, I would say, is also as diverse as Indian food. Like when I've started going more to Italy, I will not go and eat a pizza because that's the thing you would eat. But there are so many other restaurants.
That's the thing you know.
That's the thing you know.
As far as Italy is concerned.
You go every time and you explore.
It's all about exploration. It's how you kind of delve into each and every cuisine, each and every country. And that only happens while you travel and you go from, one place to the other, from the north to the south. Like just what you said about Italy, the food is so different, from the north to the south. And every time when you travel, like village to village, the food will be different, right? So it's all about exploration at the end of the day. Now, let's talk about street food. We've talked about cuisines. There are so many different cuisines. There are so many different ingredients, obviously, around the world. But, in some countries, or more often than not, street food really defines the culture of a country or a place more than, fine dining at times. So which is that one place, in your opinion, that really does street food very well?
I think Mexican street food is something which which is amazing. Again, it's very different to every region. In Mexico, you go to Yucatan, you get different style of tacos. And I was very surprised to see a lot of Lebanese influence in the Mexico City and how they're going to make how they make the tacos. It's very similar to how you make a shawarma, you know. And someone told me that there is a big influence of Lebanese people who've migrated many years ago in Mexico. So there is this cross-cultural influence and things you would never really imagine.
Yeah.
I think nothing beats Indian street food.
Yeah.
Delhi, I know a few places in Mumbai also.
Yeah.
But then if I have to talk about around the world, I think Mexican street food is something which has inspired me also because it makes me feel connected to India. I'm in love with habaneros, for example. I always use it in some form or the other in my menu. Like the gorgonzola from Italy is become part of my menu. A lot of people come and ask me, "Oh, the gorgonzola is Indian." No, it's not Indian.
So you're mixing cultures, which is also beautiful.
Chilies were never grown in India.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, they were never grown in India. They were brought to us by Latin America only with Vasco da Gama. But then they were never grown in India.
Okay, that's good to know.
So can you imagine, like when we started using chilies in India, we are supposed to call Indian food modern at that point of time because we've used something which was not native to India.
Oh.
Potatoes were never grown in India. All of these things was brought
travel
to
has done everything.
Travel has done everything.
Yeah.
It's a fact that in Italy, a lot of dairy workers are mostly from Punjab. Because they are the ones who are very good at taking care of the cattle, and so they are a big part of the dairy industry in Italy.
In Italy. Going back to street food, I think I have had the best churros on the street in Mexico. You know? So you definitely endorse the fact that Mexico has the best street food. Yeah. That's fabulous. Now, fun question for you, because you are constantly dealing with flavors. So if, say, for example, you know, your passport was stamped with flavors instead of visas, which are the 3 flavors you'd pick?
Okay, kimchi. We connected to South Korea. Yes, and gorgonzola to Italy, and habanero to probably Mexico.
Also, with your travels, you were taking us in so many different places, and you experienced so much. So what I also wanted to ask you is, what is it that you bring to your kitchen from your travels?
When you are on travel, you always look forward to bring new ingredients, but then new thought process. Like whenever I go to north of Italy, if you go to Alba, for example, and Chef Kripa was kind enough to take us to his greenhouse, and more than 100 ingredients or the herbs and flowers is what he's growing there. And all of this inspire us. We also have a small rooftop garden in Trèsind Studio.
Oh, nice. But there is so much science behind food, right? I mean, we don't look at it like that, you know, from a layman's point of view. We don't think of it like that. We just look at the food on the plate that's served. There is a lot of science behind that one dish that you create. You know, and it's very interesting to know when you put it out like that, and that kind of really, it's like mind-boggling to know that there is so much that goes behind it. And you also spoke a lot about ingredients. You know, we spoke about habanero, we spoke about the gorgonzola, and there are some special places around the world which are very unique to the ingredients that they grow or they have. So, in your opinion, which is that one ingredient you think that everyone must know, and you know the world should know about it?
Because of my trips to Italy, for example, as I mentioned, from last 3 or 4 years, I always have a pasta dish in the menu.
Oh.
And it is because of my travels. At one point of time, I've used the pasta for a dessert. So we made the tortellini and we filled it with the banana and hazelnuts, and we pair it with caramel of miso, and then there is this filter coffee with which we serve it with. So for me, the dish is not just about the pasta, it's about the filter coffee.
Right.
And the tortellini becomes that medium, a creative medium for people to explore what is filter coffee.
So an Italian dish telling an Indian story.
I mean, an expression, I would say.
Yeah.
In my current menu, it's a dish where we've made the tortellini with the goat cheese, and it's served with the lamb curry. And it's a very small, very compact portion. And we've add some cucumber flowers to it, some pickled onions to it. So when imagine you eat a morsel of this dish, it's like that morsel of a North India house where you would eat bread with the lamb curry. You will always have a raita on the side and the salad on the side. So the emotion is about that. And tortellini becomes a medium. There is another dish called kebab scarpetta. So it's like when you go to a kebab shop in Delhi and you see mostly the galati kebabs when they are cooked on this pan and they are so soft. So you get all the juice comes out of those kebabs, all the trimmings are left out on the pan. The best part of the dish is always the ones which is left in the pan. And we've made that into a dish. And I decided to call it a scarpetta is because globally people have a better understanding of eating that dish by calling it a scarpetta. This is something which my travels in Italy has made me understand that in a city like Dubai, even though the dish is full of Indian flavors, is just the way is a communication. But calling it a scarpetta is probably makes it have a global outreach.
I am so fascinated. I have forgotten my question because your food stories have taken me from the streets of Delhi to the lanes of Italy to the roads of Mexico. I'm just like, I'm only thinking about your food.
The gorgonzola is actually filled in the medu vada.
Oh my God, you have to stop now because my mouth is watering.
And then there is a kimchi of coconut, tender coconut, which goes on the medu vada. It's one of the very popular dishes we have in the menu. But this is all because of travel. This is all because of people sharing knowledge, their identity with us. Coming back to your question.
But you're really a true ambassador of food and travel, I must say, because, you know, everything that you've said so far and how you've related it to your travels, to every dish and every ingredient is just mind-boggling to me, you know. Because we are talking about so many ingredients, my next question was about ingredients, you know, because so many places around the world are known for unique ingredients, you know, that are only kind of unique to them, you know, ingredients that are unique to only that particular place. So in your travels again, which is that one ingredient you wish that the whole world should know?
There is an ingredient which is called stone flour, dagat fool it's called. It's a very underrated ingredient. It has that earthiness to it. So it's like almost like the scrapings on the stones, which you can take and you dry them. And they're typically called stone flowers because they've grown on the stones. But when you dry them, you use it as a spice, if I'm not wrong. But it's very underrated. It is used in the preparation of kebabs also. And it's something which people don't really know much about, especially people from overseas. And it can be an interesting ingredient.
So stone flour that grows in India.
Yeah.
Which is the best place for food in the world, according to you?
I mean, it's also a question where I would make many enemies if I answer.
No, I'm sure you won't, because people are looking forward to what you're going to say.
I mean, I would say Italy and France. Italian, I've given you many reasons.
Yeah.
But also one of the most important reason is that whenever you go to an Italian restaurant, it also feels like an Indian hospitality to it, you know, because also their family values are very
like
similar
Indians.
to Indian culture. So you feel that connect, you feel that freshness, you feel that warmth and hospitality. So I feel that kind of hospitality, that kind of warmth in Italy more. I will say that France is also is one of the most important destinations in the world, is because what we are doing in the kitchens right now, a lot of techniques. I mean, there will not be any modern kitchen in the world right now who would not use any French technique. Is impossible. Is impossible. So it's like a homage to the cuisine who has given a lot to the world. The principles of cooking, many things which are being made and developed and created in France, and it's carried around in the world, even in form of a creme brulee or you name anything. There is not a kitchen in this world who would not use a French technique. And I challenge any chef who can argue with me on that.
Yeah.
So maybe Italy for all the tastiness, for all the warmth, for all the hospitality they give us, and I think France with all their culinary expertise
and for leading the way and being pioneers in their own right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. So you've given us a lot of places. You know, we've traveled around from so many different corners of the world. Now, what I would like to know is, what is your hidden gem?
I think my hidden gem is not hidden anymore. I've always eaten Chef Franco Pepe's pizza in different places around Italy. But I've recently been to his restaurant, and probably I had like 8 pizzas that day.
Oh my God.
And I could have eaten more.
And this is in Naples?
It's near to Naples.
Okay.
So for me, it's probably one place where your listeners must go and eat is, and they will thank me later. That it's probably the best pizza they would have ever have in their lives.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's very well said. Now, as we're coming towards the end of the podcast, my final question. But once again, thank you so much. Before even I'm ending, for taking us on this beautiful journey around the world and really exposing us to so many different ingredients and telling us what ingredients do, really. And, the way you combine cultures and ingredients and places with your travels, I think that's just incredible. And now, yes, before we go, what is on your bucket list?
I mean, a trip to Japan is probably something which I want to do badly for many years. Also because of gastronomy, because of the cuisine. But I'm a big fan of Ikebana. I see myself connected with a lot of the principles of Ikebana. Also, when I plate a dish, I always think about the principles of Ikebana. Not just Ikebana. I think in Japan there is an art form of doing everything. There is an art. I really want to explore that kind of lifestyle, how people drive themselves every day, and the principle with which they go to work or they do anything. It's very inspiring. So, I mean, when you have these kind of principles in life, everything can become an art form, and that is what Japan shows us.
Yeah.
So I think that is probably my go-to trip very soon.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a trip to Japan will pretty much be a food pilgrimage for
Yes.
you,
Yes.
know. Well, I wish you all the best and thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much.
for
Thank you
taking
for having
us.
me. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and thank you for, being the special guest on the special culinary series on the podcast. And thank you for taking us on this incredible culinary journey. Wishing you all the best and really looking forward to coming to Trèsind Studio very soon.
Looking forward to have you.
Thank you, Himanshu.
Thank you so much.
This episode is brought to you by Emirates NBD Voyager credit cards. Create the memories, leave the rest to us. Emirates NBD Voyager MasterCard credit cards. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. I hope our conversations have fueled your wanderlust and inspired you to travel the world, well, for food this time. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and let us know what you thought of today's episode. Until the next time, safe travels and keep adventuring.